Hi guys, today I'm going to be tying one of my favourite patterns, the cruncher. Hook I'm using is the Fario Barbless wet fly hook, and I'm going to use a Uni 80 in black thread. So I'll just start up just down from the head, tie on my thread. Snip the waist piece. And tie down just past the point of the hook. For the tail, I'm going to be using a black cock feather. Just take off some of these fibres. Prefer the cock for the tail, just think it sits nice. The length, I mean, it can be up to your preference. I like it round about the shank of the hook. A couple of turns. Just make sure you're happy with the length. I'm happy with that. For the rib, I'm going to use pearl tinsel in ice blue. Just offer that up to the hook and slipped. Just present it back up. A couple of turns only. Hold that in place. Then I want a strip peacock quill in natural. And just run your thread up in touching turns to give a nice neat body. Up to about there. So I'm just going to wrap this round by hand, leaving a nice gap to let the black show through. Then tie it off. Caught it there, it's okay. Bring it back round, a couple of turns, and just snap it off. Next I'm going to wrap round the pearl tinsel and just sort of overlap these turns as you're coming up, and you'll see, as well as protecting the peacock quill, it gives you a nice effect on the body. All the way up. And just leaving yourself space for your thorax. Snip that off. Now at this point, you can protect it a bit more. You can put some varnish on there or some hardhead. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but the option's there. For this one I won't. But yeah, it does protect it and make the fly last a little bit longer, but I find they last quite well without. So next for the thorax, I'm going to use some dubbing, and this is Troutline Hare plus dubbing, and the curl is Pearl Purple. You can see it's a lovely colour. It's got a little touch of UV in there as well. Build up a little thorax, you don't want too much. It's just as a hot spot there. That's fine with that. Next I'm going to get a feather from this white and hen hackle. And I've already got a feather that I've pre-selected here that I've been using. Again, the length of the hackle fibre is a personal preference. You can tie some longer, some short. I have a variant of them in my fly box. I have some short, some long. Just tie that in, and then just take your time. Wrap it round. Make sure you pull the fibres back on each wrap, just so it sits nicely. And just build it up until you're happy. I'm going to put in quite a few turns. One more. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Don't worry if it looks a bit messy at this point. It tends to always look a bit messy at this point. Just tighten that in with a few turns, pull everything back, and just build up the head, starting at the eye of the hook. Putting in quite a few good turns, just working your way back, and that just helps it sit nicely. So I can just hold my thread tight, snap it off. You'll not snap that part, so get in with the snips. And I'm happy with that. Got a bit of loose fibre here. Get my snips. There we go. It's looking nice. Next I'm going to get some eyes. It's again totally optional, but I think it finishes the fly off nicely. So I'm going to get 2 jungle cock eyes, 1 for either side. Again, you can use a split one and just have half either side. You can see I've got 1 for each side, so just offer this up. Make sure it's sitting nice and tie that in. Yep. Other side. Couple of turns. Yeah, I'm happy with that. It's sitting nice. A few more turns to secure these in. I'll pull everything back and starting at the eye, work your way up to build the head. Now snap these off. Sometimes they don't snap very well like that. Just take your time. You can just snip them, but keep your thread tight and you can usually snap them off. I'm gonna have to get the snips for this last piece. There we go. Tidy that up. And a foot finish. And that's looking nice. Happy with that. Cracking little patterns these. I'm sure it was Davey McPhail who gave me the idea for this fly. It was a similar cruncher that he tied. I'm just going to finish off the head with some varnish. Some hardhead cement I'm going to use. And again, it's just a case of dabbing it, rotating the vise, dabbing it. Just take your time. Try not to get any of the on the fibres or on the eyes. Take your time. Happy with that. So yeah, really effective little part in this, and just make sure there's no varnish in the eye. Yeah, happy with that. So as you can see there, really nice coloration. You can see the pearl purple just popping out from underneath as I turn it there. And that body really catches the light. Definitely worth having a few in your fly box. I find they work really well on the larger Stillwaters, fished as a teaming in straight lined or even on the washing line. Cheers guys.